Okay, so he and I dated when we lived in Oregon. We broke up and he moved across the country for work. That should have been a clean split, but it wasn't. We still had feelings for each other. The ending of our relationship had been really circumstantial, like because of things outside of our control, and that spark was still there. I was very clear with my intentions that I still had feelings, I still believed in us, and I thought if we put in a bit of work that this could be something really magic. After right, by the way. But at the time he said he wasn't interested. He would say like maybe someday or not right now. But he would go on to interact with me in ways that were technically platonic, but like definitely energetically gray area. The frequency of communication was very high. We talked every day. He would check in with me about the highs and lows. He would run big life decisions by me, and he wanted me to do the same. He would also get us into this habit of like exchanging little images of like what we were doing during the day. And then he would respond to mine with like little heart emojis or flirtatious comments. I think he only came back to town once, but when he did very romantic things with me. Like movie nights at his place. He decorated the whole thing for Christmas because it was going to be our last time celebrating it there because he was closing up that house for good. This was in July, by the way. These are very romantic things, but it was sporadic. It was inconsistent. Because there would also be days and weeks where this just never happened, or like times where he would just be super quiet. And so then when I would check in and be like, hey, what's going on? He would remind me it's just a platonic relationship. And I would be like, doesn't feel like it. After months and months and months of this, I started to go a little bit crazy. I needed my actions to start lining up with my level of commitment, and ours didn't. I was really transparent when I started to change things. I would repeat back to him that what you were offering to me is friendship, and so I'm going to start behaving like your friend. I communicated less frequently, and I did so mostly in text message. No more FaceTiming, no more Marco Polo, no more image exchanging during the day. I asked him to show up in actions that were intentional and that reflected what he actually wanted to have with me. So then when he would flirt with me, I would call him out on it. I'd be like, it seems like you're flirting with me. Can you explain to me what's behind that? Or is it empty? When he would make big shows of support or send presents, I'd be like, this seems like boyfriend behavior. Is that what you're angling for? Some of this was just a bit cheeky and playful because I know what he's doing. He's breadcrumbing me. A lot of this was just pointing out the inconsistency of his actions. When it became clear that he was dating people and not telling me about it and like deliberately hiding it from descriptions of his day, I would call him out on that and be like, you know, we're friends. You can tell me about who you're seeing. Or at least don't fictionalize the description of your day to leave that part out. When he asked me about big life decisions he was making about like what state to work in next, what job to take, and whether or not to buy a house, I responded dispassionately in a way that supported his goals but didn't acknowledge my involvement at all because I wasn't involved. His life was his own now. He didn't like this. So essentially we had this repeating thing of him behaving in a way that was not in line with friendship, me calling it out, forcing him to explain it, and then him repeating that he doesn't want anything more and me saying, great, then let's not act like it. It was really hard for me to pull back from those interactions. It felt wrong. I reminded myself all the time, and occasionally him, that my goal was to be in a healthy, co-created relationship, and that's where I would be directing that energy. Eventually my heart caught up with my behavior and I did sort of let go. Of course, that's when he showed up on my doorstep and was like, I want to do this for real. Let's see what happens. And that was 6 months ago.